Hello, guys. Since for the past few times, audio was it worked, everything worked. Um, I won't ask for confirmation like Owen usually does. I'll keep my update brief. I do have a meeting in about 10 minutes. Since for the past few times, audio was it worked, everything worked. Pushed the I won't ask for confirmation economic like update does. To the blockchain about a week ago. That caused some issues with block validation, not necessarily block reduction. These issues currently are ongoing, though we expect to solve them in the next 24 hours. Funds are safe. It doesn't really mean anything. Though we had planned to perform this epoch extension, if you've read the post detailing what the upgrade was about, though we hoped to do that, in one way, it was later revealed that this way bricked the chain. It corrupted a few essential bits of the blockchain. It was quite dumb. We'll try to summarize exactly what happened and why, and what actions were taken to fix it, and why it took this long. I frankly don't expect such an issue to extend for. It's now been 6 days. But in the meanwhile, rest assured that we've been working a fair bit to get the state all back in order. But all the while, as I said, funds are safe. We don't see this as a major issue or by any means a permanent issue. Once it's fixed, it won't happen again. As I said, I'll explain more perhaps in writing. It is also an issue that is shared with other networks that share our same code base, such as Polkadot and Kusama. We can't reveal too much about it, also because we need to coordinate with them and disclose this issue to them sensibly, so that it can't be exploited, taking advantage on their networks as well. But in short, the network had, for the past 6 days, issues validating blocks. There are some issues that extend from that, such as a reduced rate of staking, because again, the object of staking, which is the validation of blocks, has been impaired. But aside from that, no major concern at this time. Ecosystem-wise, development continues. For the past week, I've focused a lot personally on Cherish. A few of the resources we've hired since perhaps you've shared this in the past, we've expanded the team a fair bit. They've been dedicated to flagship projects such as Cherish. I expect Cherish to take a prime role in the next few weeks and months. In chat, I also shared a partnership that I hadn't spoken about in AMAs before. This is a partnership with this joint, this entity formed by a joint partnership with a partner of ours and a very large firm. So if you can consider this, it's a partnership between Cherry Labs or Cherry Network and a very large firm by once removed. We have this shared entity, shared purpose, by which we will be collaborating with this large firm. I won't disclose who they are. I can tell you that it fits remarkably well with Cherry Network. I see it as one of the main and first, frankly, large legacy business applications. So we're talking about real economy, not Web3, of the Cherry Network. technology being applied, and where the Cherry network really does add some benefits, some features that unlock, hopefully, a great deal of new and unseen value. These partners, I can't tell you much about them. We will once the deal is a more advanced stage. As I mentioned in the past, I expect this deal to take several weeks, if not months. But rest assured that I think we're on a very good track to make it happen. And it wouldn't be underselling, it wouldn't be overstating that these counterparts are one of the foremost entities in their space, at least, in the global markets. So we're talking about a quite substantial niche related to data storage and distribution. I won't tell you exactly what sort of data. And they're among the foremost. I think they qualify as the second or third largest global market participants. So I'm quite happy about that. I'll be sure to share updates about them when I can. Finally, we've spoken a lot about, in the past, stakeholder participation. You've spoken a lot about how Cherry aims to be a DAO and diffuses responsibility and diffuses efforts among its stakeholders. So it's yours as well as mine responsibility to keep the network going and engage however possible in the realization of the Cherry vision and the driving of our project toward these shared goals. I've also discussed about, and throughout these calls, what I and our team is doing to make all this happen. We're dedicating a whole bunch of time both in developing the core of the blockchain as well as a bunch of ecosystem projects, most of which I've now covered in one way or another. Seedling, Cherish, some others you're probably all aware about, but then there's many others that I've all mentioned in passing. They're all very exciting. They all have their different characteristics and different conditions they want to set out to in order to launch and in order to gain the most exposure and time their actions in relation to the market, in relation to certain passages of the Cherry network, for example. Some are waiting for the release of the relay chain so that they can deploy as a parachain. Some are waiting for our deployment of our EVM compatibility layer such that they can deploy their Solidity code that's already present. This is in particular for firms, for dApps that already exist in other ecosystems, such as the Binance Chain ecosystem, Avalanche ecosystem, etc. And to bring their code over to us so that they can give and provide the same services that they do very effectively in these other networks on the Cherry chain as well. So I've covered all that at length. In addition to that, I also want to mention that beside our scale, beside our quite valuable and still engaged community of stakeholders that do participate and are really the ultimate owners and controllers of Cherry, we also have a fair bit of budget. We raise a whole bunch of money, and we've been super conscientious in how we've spent it and kept it. We were affected by the Terra collapse. We did have a bunch of stablecoin in Terra, but it wasn't much. Aside from that, our finances are very strong, and They've been adapted throughout time to sustain Sherry regardless of external market conditions, and even in light of market conditions. So when the markets go up, when cash is cheap, like it has been for several years, so interest rates are low, we tend to spend more to expand more rapidly, invest in lower value partnerships, frankly, just to generate more volume and capture even more, even a greater proportion of this rapidly expanding market. However, in the past few months now, as the market has contracted, and everybody knows this, this has been one of the main items of conversation, maybe from in the period of May to June. We've also adapted in the opposite sense. As the market contracted, as there was a shift from growth to value in both real economy and especially in crypto, where we've now seen the rate of funding decrease by, I want to say, 10 times, where we've seen the total market capitalization of cryptocurrency decrease by, I think, 60%. We peaked at like $2.2 trillion, I think. At some point, I think we're less than a trillion now, cumulatively including Bitcoin and Ethereum. Regardless, and even as an extension of this, I think, our ability to retain capital, manage our treasury, and deploy it effectively in light of these changing dynamics, I think position us very well, both to endure continued downturn and to capitalize on an inversion, let's say, once the market, as it must, expands once again. Our treasury currently stands at, I think, more than the total value of the Trade Network coin, which sure has decreased substantially and perhaps in excess of what its true value is, certainly in relation to what the technology is, but I think more especially in the context of this conversation, also in relation to the assets that underlie it. After all, though the treasury isn't owned by the DAO, isn't dispersed by the DAO, but rather sort of stewarded by this joint effort of the founding team and Trade Labs, which is once again the investment arm, the incubator of the Trade Network. These are still funds that are entirely purposed to the expansion and growth and sustenance of the Trade Network and its ecosystem. So I don't know exactly how this translates into actions, into trading decisions. I just want to share that our balance sheet is quite strong. And I think most remarkably, very much in excess, probably double what our token diluted value currently stands at. That's all. Brief points today. If you guys have any questions, I'll answer them. Otherwise, I'll get back to my I have this call. As I said, I'm late now, and we'll definitely get you information about the state of the blockchain, and it's resuming probably by the end of today, if not tomorrow. And as I said, I'll describe why and how, and in a bit more of a narrative form in due time.
Thank you very much. I didn't see too many questions, and most of the questions that I did see, I can actually handle. So I know you're in a hurry to get to your next call, so I think we'll be okay for now. Any questions that I see, I'll let you know, and then perhaps next time you're in the Telegram chat, you can field those questions by text. So thank you very much, Herman. That's great to hear. I'm going to give a very brief overview of some of the more operational and tactical goings on in Cherry. I'd like to continue on from what Herman mentioned there, which was a very good overview of where we stand strategically, specifically with regards to financing, with regards to positioning and market acquisition strategy, both in downturn and in time periods of widespread economic growth in Cherry and in the wider crypto and indeed general industry sectors. Is that my point would be that we have this is not our first rodeo, so to speak. We have we've worked in all of the people on the management side of the company have all worked in crypto for years and years and years. We've seen downturns and we've seen upswings several times over, and we are prepared strategically for how to navigate these kind of obstacles. And our strategy until now that things are looking somewhat better in the market, our strategy has always been to, as Herman said, expand when it's cheap to do so, but also keep a medium and long-term eye on having enough of a backup to navigate more choppy waters, as we've seen in the past few months. The point I'd like to make is that this is both a challenge, but in some ways presents itself as an opportunity. I've seen some intelligent and experienced traders and investors in our community mention several times the fact that while we don't wish any business any bad fortune, it can be better for the market as a whole, the industry as a whole, and Cherry in particular, if a lot of the less solid business cases and enterprises are shaken out during a time of market decline. We were well aware that this would happen, and we've capitalized on it by taking measured and cautious approaches to expenditure, to our investments, partnerships, etc. So we're starting to see the benefit of that in that many other projects the same size as Cherry, the same stage in their life cycle as Cherry, have painted themselves into a corner or indeed folded over the past few weeks and months because they didn't have enough money and they simply didn't have the cash to keep going, and they didn't have the ability to continue momentum while the going was tough. While it's sad for those people and the efforts that they put in, it presents us with an opportunity in that when markets pick up again, and which is coinciding with the rollout of a lot of our flagship products and big partnerships that Herman mentioned, this is a very opportune and fortuitous time for us to then increase, put our foot in the pedal again and increase spending to capitalize on the increased room to maneuver that has been left in the market with the less solid projects having been shaken out. So I say this as a way to echo what a lot of the experienced traders have said to our community over the past few weeks and months, and just to affirm that that is our strategy and that is something that we are currently seeing the benefit of. We are not stuck for money, and that's a very good place to be in business. And it's something that a lot of projects can't really claim, both within crypto and especially in the wider tech industry. They have a much, much shorter runway, and they have less of a war chest and less of a financial cushion to be able to continue when the market is less pliable and less navigable. So yeah, that would be my update about that. In combination with in keeping with what I was saying there, we have some aspects of this you will probably never really hear much detail about, but we've got quite a few improved and expanding investment relationships with a number of very large investment firms, which is great to see. We've kind of tweaked and are overhauling our investment relations approach and strategy, and that will start to show dividends in the next couple of weeks. Moving on, and I'm going to go through this very quickly. I'm just going to list some of the things that have been going on for anyone who's joined in. And I've just seen a couple of questions there, which I'll answer. Crypto Dev VIP said, when will the network be ready? Herman just referred to that, just talked about that about 10 minutes ago. He said that within the next couple of days, the slight issue with the block resolution after upgrade challenge will be overcome and everything will be back to normal. And all funds are safe, and they always were going to be, and they always have been, as we said several times. Our friend Josian asked, in the unfortunate event the Fed raises interest rates higher than expected, let's say above 2%. Okay, I'm not liking this question already. This will be devastating for the market. Yes, that is very true. And I know you've said before about the solid finances that the project has, but in these events, will Cherry be able to strive? I think you mean survive. Strive, yeah, whatever. I get what you mean. Will we be able to continue? Yes, absolutely. Don't worry about that. We have, and part of the reason that a lot of you guys heard about the project was because we have a huge amount of buy-in from some of the largest and most prominent and most experienced and most reputable investment entities in the crypto industry. Most of them are listed on our website. You probably heard me mention them all before. And they continue to be very confident in us. I have to speak to these people on a regular basis. And we give them a lot of transparency, as we give the community, but we give them a lot of detail in terms of what's being built and what our plans are and our current situation. And yes, that would not be something that would jeopardize the future of the project. It wouldn't be good. We don't want to see even more economic mayhem and market mayhem. We don't want to see that, but we will. It would not be an existential risk to the project whatsoever. Obviously, before we start making, Unigate, for example, is already making money. Cherry, given the fact that it's a pretty nascent blockchain initiative, it's not. We aren't drawing in the kind of cash inflows that we intend to and expect to as we expand out our network. But at the same time, even in such a situation with such revenue streams, we would still be able to continue for a very, very long time, years. We're talking about years. We're not talking about weeks. So that's one of the strongest aspects of the project, in my opinion, is that we've been very, and thanks to Herman and other managers who have really done an excellent job on creating a very sustainable economic kind of backup for the company. So that's to answer your question, is that no, we will not be in trouble if the Fed puts rates above 2%. We wouldn't be happy, but obviously that's just the way it is. That's not something that we would lose any sleep over. Okay, I spoke a bit too long about that, so I'm going to just very, very quickly move through some of the other things that are happening. To give you an idea of what's going on with the company itself, we've spent the last few months basically making sure that we had a proper internal operating pace and framework. We've done a lot of work on project management. We do our daily stand-ups now every day at 10 a.m. Dublin and London time. We're building out the team, as I mentioned, on the business side. The development team has been built out quite well already. We've already, with regards to the internships, we've already landed on one candidate who interviewed quite well, who we'll be proceeding with, and then I'll be speaking to the other people, two actually, because we're going through them bit by bit and kind of first people up. If they're good enough, then we'll just proceed with them because that's the most efficient way to do it. Other people that have applied for the internship can expect feedback in the next few days, actually. The university is being expanded in terms of content and also type of content, in that por todos los hispanohablantes, you will be able to read all university content in Spanish, because we have a very strong LATAM and Spanish community, as you guys know. And we thought it would be, so we asked the Spanish speaking community if they would like to have the university stuff in Spanish. They said it was a great idea. So then to keep our community pleased, we went and translated it all into Spanish. So that will be launching, I think, on Friday, the Spanish version of the whole university. As I already mentioned, we're tweaking and improving our investor relations system. We have new investments coming in. Herman mentioned the stuff about partners. I already talked about what was going on internally. We have a lot of media coming out in the next couple of weeks that will explain how the Cherry Network works in detail. And we have, we're ramping up the community marketing. Basically, we have some very talented people in the community who have kind of proposed unofficial kind of partner marketing through a variety of channels, and you'll start to see that go live within 24 hours. Okay, so I've spoken for too long. I'm sorry for taking up your time like that. I hope you found some of it useful, and we will move on to either Diego or Marv, and they'll give us both super quick updates. Whichever wants to go first is fine with me.
All right, I think I'll go for it right now.
Go for it.
Yeah, hey guys, Marvin from Cherish here. As Herman said, and I mentioned over the last few weeks, we have been expanding our team in a sizable amount, more on the engineer side and technical side, which will make us progress even faster. Herman mentioned last week that we are on track. So we're still keeping on track, and this will kick us into an higher gear as soon as these engineers get worked in. So we're very, very, very excited for what is to come right now. On the business side of things, we are working on more resources for you guys so you can expand your knowledge about Cherish and what our focus is and where we're targeting ourselves. So you can expect more of that, I think, this week as well. Then on the creator side of things, if you've been keeping an eye on the Cherish chat, you have been seeing a lot of new creators show up. I implore you guys to definitely go check these out. They're really awesome, really talented people who've reached out to us, or we reached out to them, and who are now collaborating with us to make the greatest content platform, the most equal content platform for everybody, and for everybody with a creative side to them. So all good on the Cherish end, and I'll leave it to Diego now.
Hello, guys. I hope you're all fine. Thank you for tuning in another Wednesday. Just to recap, as Owen just mentioned earlier, we were chatting with some of you in the Spanish chat last week, and you guys were asking if we could maybe translate the website to other languages, in this case, Spanish. We've heard you, and we've decided to work on this. Obviously, it is true that there's a lot of technical vocab which will still be left in English, some keywords, especially on the glossary, but the content will be translated for you guys. Also, some days ago, we added some courses to the uni, the second version. So the initiative is now rolling and ready to scale into what I think will be a very essential learning platform in the space. Then regarding Seedling, again, we're working on the design of the marketing campaign. I'm already setting grounds on the proposals and moving around, in particular with the KOL program, with communities that could be interested from all parts of the world, actually, in order to systematically grow our community with new people when onboarding and introducing ourselves to new groups of investors. We've also worked on the first part mentioned on the last AMA, the way we will position ourselves. We need to choose very carefully the words we use and the hook to really make this happen. I'm also having a chat with Rafa from Foxtrot Command. We should be announcing dates very soon. We are also looking to get some YouTube and Twitter content by external influencers out for this collaboration and new project. Some of you guys were asking for more content created online by influencers on Seedling, and we will be working on this. We believe that actually the best promotion comes from projects rather than just influencers, as this can just be seen as paid content. But if we get some influencers to actually promote the projects we are launching on our website, we think this is the best strategy to take and actually get some kind of action with them to be directly incentivized to participate and learn more about Seedling. We're also preparing a newsletter. So we'll be distributing a monthly newsletter to you guys so you guys understand our month's work. As we have seen from our fellow ecosystem leader, Cherish, they're very transparent and diligent in their work. They show all updates on their project diary and newsletter, apart from the weekly AMAs and even the direct chat to core team members on Telegram. And therefore, we want to be no different than them. Therefore, we'll be distributing a monthly update post so you guys can check what we have worked on and also what are the plans for the next, let's say, couple of weeks, so you guys are fully informed. Our research analyst, Javin, actually has been working in creating more deal flows with projects and trying to bring some interesting projects to the platform. We have some interesting meetings this week, actually, with some projects, and we'll surely bring some new investment opportunities for you guys soon. And finally, a small reminder, we distributed the rewards from the giveaway done with Whitley today. So more info was shared earlier on today on Twitter and Telegram. So you guys can go and check if you were the lucky winners. Well, actually not lucky, but more well-earned winners. That was all from my side. Stay tuned to our social media and soon our newsletter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diego. Those were some very on point kind of updates about what's going on with Seedling. You covered it well there. There's a couple of the things he mentioned will hopefully be out or done within the next few hours. Myself and Diego will be working on it later. The newsletter will be gone out tomorrow. Hopefully the Cherry newsletter as well. And we will have more material to interact with the KOLs with and the branding of Seedling in certain ways and pitching our new initiatives. We have to just tweak the wording and the exact approach of that. So Diego's waiting on me to work with that with him, and it should be quite good once we get it done. So there'll be a lot of action on the Seedling side in the next 24 hours. Now we move on to the quiz. The quiz, I've been paying people manually their rewards over the past couple of days. There are still some I haven't missed or I haven't gotten around to. So any quizzes that haven't had the winners announced for, which I think might be the last one, and maybe the one before that, and this week's, and anybody who wasn't paid from previous AMAs or AMA quizzes will get their money within the next 24 hours. So I think that John has some interesting questions, and we'll move on to the most fun part of the AMA. I'll stop talking, and we'll lock horns with this quiz, which is a good one. And I'll just hand this over to John. Thank you all for joining. Good news on the technical front, good news on the business front. So everything's all quiet on the Western front here at Cherry, and I'll be speaking to you guys in the chat over the next few days. And I'll also be speaking to you next week again when we'll have the same AMA at the same time again. Thank you very much for joining, guys, and have a nice evening.